Hey, while you in the first 5 seconds of the video, go ahead, like and subscribe.
I had met a lady.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to her, and she had brought up that she was a victim of 2 attempted rapes.
Right.
Remember that, she's a victim of 2 attempted rapes. So because of that, when she started to talk about men, I'm just sitting here listening, and it's like, yeah, well men, and men this, and men that. But I understand that's because of what? That trauma that happened to her. So I bring that up because going back to what Brian brought up, you got to know their upbringing.
That's true.
If she was molested, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship.
You're right, bro.
If she was raped, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship.
Affect y'all everything.
If she saw her mother getting beat, that's going to affect y'all. If she hasn't got over that, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship. Same thing with you.
You're right, yes, sir.
So that's why getting with somebody and getting married, it's a lot that comes with that.
Yes, sir. It is.
That's stuff y'all supposed to talk about beforehand. What we're reading right here is how to deal with one another. That's why I had asked, what's rebuke? Correcting one another. We don't correct each other. You see somebody doing wrong,
you ain't gonna say nothing.
that ain't me, that ain't my family. And then even in some families, don't nobody say nothing. Oh, he smoking.
Hey, forget it. You're exactly right.
Read it again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
With that right there, it say you're not supposed to hate your neighbor in your heart. If you let somebody do something wrong, you know it's wrong, you don't do nothing, you hate them. When I did this, when I look back, it was a lot of people ain't stopped me from doing a lot of stuff. I'm like, damn. I look back like, damn, you really ain't care. But the ones that was like, hey, don't do that. No, come over here. Do it this way. That's not a good decision. Those the ones that care. The ones that just turn their shoulder and they go, they don't care.
Exactly right.
So that's what we got to get taught. I'm sure in your time, you had men like,
Just
young
step
man,
up.
don't
Just
do
step
that.
up. Don't do it, man.
I know what you're thinking.
Don't
That
do
ain't
it.
right. Those the ones that care. The ones that's like, oh, you finna do what? Oh, go on ahead. They don't care. They sit back with popcorn. They finna watch you crash and burn. So we gotta learn to start caring about one another, correcting one another when we see wrong. This one of our laws. This is our heritage. This is what we supposed to apply.
But some of you young kids out here nowadays, they don't want you to do that. You know, you the enemy. You know, oh man, don't do that. Oh, who that old man? What the hell he talking about?
And you know something? The same brother I was mentioning a few minutes ago, I'm going to tell you, same thing I told him. The ones that don't want to listen, where they going to end up at?
In the jail, in the grave.
The ones that want to get out, that's who ill you going to catch.
That's right.
The ones that's tired of it, that's who ill you going to catch.
Sure is.
Even us, when we go out, we know when we go out, it's some that ain't going to listen. The ones that is going to listen, them the ones we out there for.
You done saved it.
The ones that's not, we know how this go. I ain't that far removed. I ain't that much older than some of them. I know where you gonna be at, bro. When I was in high school, a lot of brothers was dying. I know where you gonna be at. You don't want to change? Go ahead. But you can't say I wasn't shown another way. You can't say I ain't had no way out. A way out being shown to you. A different way to live being shown to you. But you choosing. Go back to the choice. We talking about the choice. You can choose in that.
Right. Yeah.
Like here's something. Brother complain about catching STDs. What the Bible do? The Bible got a solution for that. Hebrews 13:4. The Bible got a solution for that. He don't want to catch no STDs, but he trying to knock down every woman he sees. So what's the solution for him?
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
Did y'all hear that? What God say?
Marriage is honorable in all.
God only honor marriage. So to the brother that don't want to catch another STD, his solution is marriage. If you had that one woman, you ain't got to worry about that. But you out here running around, you shooting dice. Every time you running one of them women, you shoot it. Let me see, I might hit my point. Snake eyes. chlamydia, snake eyes,
Not if you use a rubber.
HPV.
Not if you use a rubber.
Yeah, all right, it don't work. but these the solutions right here. We don't apply to this. This why we got single parent homes.
That's why I can reach about. You know, I've been married to the same woman 58 years.
Right on, right on.
That's right. If she leaves me, I'm going with her. 58 years. And they never had no STD or whatever.
That's all.
It's simple, right? That's a simple solution.
Yes, it's simple.
But then when you with this one and that one, it's like you don't know where she been. It's a big chance you might catch something.
That's right.
But if you got your wife you with, it's like,
All right, blue. Yeah.
but we ain't talk marriage. What you just said, what you just shared with us, that's beautiful. Young men need to hear that. We ain't shown black families. We ain't shown black love.
A little bit sharper.
You know what I'm saying? Unless we watch a movie or something. Like me, I'm married. He's married. He's married. He's married. That's something else we teach the young men. Marriage. That will stop with single parent homes.
And I had 3 daughters. And when guys come around to my house, look, you don't come around to my house with shades on. Hey, man, how you doing? Look, get going, boy. When my kids, look, I got twins, and my oldest is 55, they twins. My youngest is 45. And guys knew in that block. They grew up on 84th and Marshfield. I was one of the first blacks over there. But they knew, those young kids come on there. You didn't come on that block messing with my kids, man. I didn't take it because I was young myself. But at that time, I was brought up the right way. You know, you're not gonna come in my house and disrespect me, my man. But now these kids, now they come in your house and they disrespect you. The parents are scared of the kids. You know, hey, these young kids come to my house, they glance on, I say, hey son, if you want to come in, ain't no sun in this house. Take off them glasses. Okay, Mr. Gilmore.
I heard that.
And I'm serious.
Folks make sure none of y'all niggas don't.
Yeah, don't mess around. One kid, you know, because I used, you know, was the block club president, and he tell me, and I kept my yard and stuff clean. I'm gonna blow up Mr. Gilmore Graham with one of them firecrackers. Every kid on the block came and told me who it was. Every kid on the block, man, Mr. Gilmore, he could look. Like I told him, man, I said, look, if you blow up my block, boy, you know, I wouldn't told his daddy. I said, look, you better talk to him. No, he didn't say that, Mr. Gilmore did. I said, yes, he did, because all the kids in the neighborhood told me. Because, I mean, it's just the idea of, you know, how I raised my kids. You know what I mean? I wouldn't let nobody just come and just run over them. And I swear, man, and God is my witness, I'm a church-going guy, you know, and I have respect for everybody in that neighborhood. I lived in that neighborhood over there where I used to live for 24 years. My house never got robbed, never got burglarized, or nothing. Because the kids all respected me. I went to all their football games, I coached in the, I mean, I just took part with these kids. And they all love me. They come back now, they come back, oh, Mr. Gilmore, you was so, because I took time with these kids.
That's what you just said. That's not done. Like worldwide, citywide. That ain't done all the time. You only got a few men that's willing to do that. Yeah. It's one thing to talk about what the youth doing and how they ain't acting right, but who gonna step up? You did some stepping up.
I stepped up.
You get what I'm saying? And that's honorable. That's honorable. One of the things they got to be taught, get a wife. All that sleeping around is going to lead to what? What's going to happen to them when they keep sleeping around?
Yeah, what you just said.
Outside of STDs, they're going to be what? A man with a bunch of children.
But the kids.
Bunch of kids, check getting garnished, and crying about it. Child support. But how you get into that situation? Sleeping around. Finish that up. In Hebrews 13:4.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
Whoremongers is people that sleep around.
Right.
Adulterers is people that sleep with other people's spouse.
Right.
You ain't gonna end up in those situations if you not doing that stuff.
Right.
You married, you got a wife, you gotta worry about child support. But if you sleep
Have a
around,
good weekend, man.
it's bound to happen. So this is the stuff that we gotta start teaching. We have to teach these things to our children, or the cycle's gonna continue. One of y'all was finna say something, go ahead.
No, I
I agree with everything you're saying to a point. I just think that everything is circumstantial, that's all.
Right.
When you say circumstantial, like how? Certain people's situation.
That means that you can have a baby and then 5 more years you not be with her and then get married, but you still gotta be child support.
Right, like that don't mean if you sleeping around, like
Right.
sometimes something don't work out, and then
Right.
you do what you're supposed to do, take care of your kid. That don't always mean that you was out here sleeping on. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying circumstances.
That's a
You
different
still paying
situation.
child support.
That's why I just said
That's
circumstances.
different. That's
Different
different.
situation. You younger.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Circumstances.
Yeah, right.
Right. That's a different situation.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
even that, it's something you can do to avoid that. How many people you think really get to know the person before they lay with them? It's about 6 or 7. How many people really do that? It's mainly she fine. I like her.
There you go.
That ain't always the case though.
Not
You
all the
still
time.
giving
Not all
certain
the time.
scenarios. You can get with a woman, man, and y'all can be the best 2 people ever. And eventually, you grow as a person. When you 24, you different than you are when you 40. That person different when they are when they 40. Y'all might grow apart. You might do what you're supposed to do as a man, take care of your kid. That don't always mean you may meet a woman, you may be in a different situation, and say, hey, I'm gonna take my time this time. That don't make me or somebody else, you know what I'm saying, bad. You just made mistakes in your life, and now you learning, and you may not always be the first person you meet. She may talk to you on the phone, be all those things. You might go on a date with her, she might not be what's it. She may not show you who she is until the next time you sleep with her. That don't mean you bad or anything like that. You might say, okay, I can't deal with you no more. You're not gonna not have sex no more because this person was wrong. You gotta find, you know, all I feel like, man, you leave everything to God, man. You pray every day with every situation. We all make mistakes out here, man. But I just don't think it's, you know, labels like right or wrong in this lifestyle. That's all. It's different situations. That's all. I'm not trying to go against anything you're saying.
Bro, what you talking?
Because I'm used to this man, he always crying all the time. So,
I ain't even saying nothing, man.
I can tell y'all be bumping heads.
Damn.
It be them two bumping heads in the barbershop. I can tell. But what you saying though, Marlo? But what you saying though, Marlo?
Yes, sir.
I understand that.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm showing you right here is how we can avoid going through all that. Most of the time, we don't do those steps. I understand there's different situations that happen.
Right.
But for the majority of people, we don't take the time. Usually, brothers find out she crazy like some years. Like, bro, why you ain't, man, I ain't know this. Because the mind was, hey, man, she look good. She
What
nice.
up, big dog?
And then you find out all this stuff about her later.
That's true.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Okay.
And be not hasty to credit him.
So you supposed to get to know that person first.
So you saying that you can't have sex with nobody until you get to know everything about them?
Exactly.
What you do?
You ain't know that?
Hold on. First of all, don't you say another word at me because you gonna enjoy it. Struck down. Struck him down. Right?
He messing with you, bro.
I know you.
Look. Wouldn't that make no sense?
Yeah,
Think
no.
about it.
But what I'm saying is this though. What I'm saying is in life, you can do all those things. Like we dealing with people out here. If you think people out here murdering, stealing, you think a woman ain't gonna tell you everything you need to know?
Right.
I'm saying it may be a
how we
mistake.
prevent
That don't
that.
necessarily make you. Sometimes you can't prevent it. When we talking about having sex, we ain't talking about like having, like he said, using condom. You said that don't work. So I have sex and use condom. Does that mean I'm wrong? Because I misled, like she was misleading me, or this wasn't the right person afterwards.
I'm showing you what to do.
No, I'm asking you a question. though.
You gotta understand, you talking to a freak.
That's too much info for me, bro. That's too much info. But look,
You talking to a freak ass nigga that's
I'm just trying to ask all of
Drake is favorite rapper.
you want to get to know the person before you don't want to lay with him and all that. First, you want to get to know
No,
him.
what I'm saying is sometimes you can do that. So I'm just gonna be honest. You talking to a guy that's been married 15 years, ain't never stepped out, ain't never did nothing, and wound up getting divorced. Because somebody showed me something who they really were.
I'm good.
Those things happen. Right.
Right.
Those
That's
things
what I'm
happen.
saying. I ain't never stepped out, I ain't never not came home, I ain't never did not one thing wrong, and still got played after 15 years.
Right. That's a different situation.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So now I'm not gonna not have sex with somebody because I'm vetting. Sometimes I might vet a woman. She might show me all those signs, get to know them and everything. Shut up. Don't try to talk real, man.
What I'm saying is the way that we've been doing stuff,
Yes.
and this before
I even knew what I knew now. The way we've been doing stuff is why we get in those situations.
I got you.
Have we learned what I'm showing you today, what we showing you today, we wouldn't be in those situations.
Right.
You supposed to vet the person first. When you go to a
On
job,
camera.
don't jobs vet you? Jobs vet you. We need a background check. We don't even care if you mopping floors. We need to make sure you ain't back-ish crazy. You could be mopping the floor in my company and then you spaz. I gotta know who you is.
Yes, sir.
So what may have happened in your past and all our past, okay, that's the past. Now we gotta do better.
Right.
This is the right way to go about it.
Yes, sir.
We can't do nothing about what happened in the
I want to add
past.
to that because
Yes,
at
sir.
30, I became single. I was with my kid's mom for a while when I was young, and we was on our way to get married, but we broke up at 30. So we did about 10 years, young, broke up. We was about to get married, but didn't. We was a little bit too young, so we wasn't mature enough to deal with what was next. Even though we had kids, I mean, we had a kid together, she had a kid already, and to do the marriage thing next was just like, I know I got to do it, but was I really 100 with it? No. I was about 98 to 97% thinking I'm ready, you know, and something came up where it wasn't, you know, let us know that at the time it wasn't ready, it wasn't that time. So sometimes when you go through that dating experience, sometimes you'll figure it out later. So me, another 17 years, it took me about another 17 years to get married, but that single time that I had and I dated and all of that stuff, like I said, I went through that moment though where you meet some women and you hit it and whatever, but I got what you're talking about, where you say you gotta really get to know a chick. So I stopped doing all that, rushing to the bed. I'm dating you, I'm kicking it, but I ain't sleeping with him, right? So I get the perception of, hey, he must be gay or something. But me, I'm just trying to figure you out before I know if who you say you are. Right. So I'm trying to realize that and think of that and all of those things that you say you are. So I just didn't rush no more. I just started taking my time, and at some point, now I got to my wife. See what I'm saying? So I got what you're saying, where you got to get to know somebody at a certain point versus just rushing into everybody you meet, going with looks, and she look good, she feel good, whatever. But you got to learn somebody. So I get that. I get that part.
We don't apply that in our
We don't do it. We don't do it.
If we did that, we wouldn't be in a lot of situations that we got in.
Right, and we don't teach our young men that either.
We don't. So then they go through the same thing. They go through the same thing.
Same trial and tribulation.
This is the thing though. If we don't
I
get
ain't
it
lying,
right,
but like y'all did.
think about it. If we don't get it right, with us dealing with our women,
Yes, sir.
the cycle not gonna change.
That's real.
That's true.
It's not gonna change.
But can I say one thing? Now these days it's different though, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like men did women so bogus. Women out here bogus now.
Man, what?
So-
Catfishing and
So women out here acting like men now. Women want to be the man now. If you ride down the street right now, you drive everywhere you go now. You see women in nice cars now, better than men. So it's like women trying to be man now. So what you got to say about that? Read.
I know how you get it.
That's all, man.
Man, we gotta have some type of laughter in here, man. Y'all wanna be straight up? You know, we gotta laugh a little bit. Hey, come on, man. This ain't gonna be about something nigga don't laugh.
It's a barbershop.
This nigga wanna be straight to church, so you wanna fall asleep on the thing? No, it's not.
Good, bro. I know he do this all the time. And then he get
I wanna
on
be
your
right. I
side.
wanna be
You
myself.
ain't going to my crib or go to my refrigerator.
I know this regular.
This nigga put his feet on my couch with no socks on.
Listen to this though. Brian, I know you was joking, but you said what I got to say about that. Same thing I showed Marlo. Read that.
The book of 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit.
Can't believe everybody. People show they representative.
Yeah, that's why you gotta get to know a person. That's why it takes time to build a village and to build your old lady.
Prove him first.
Ain't that right, Marlo?
But try the spirits.
What?
But try the spirits.
To really get to know somebody, it takes time.
Yeah, it
But
do
if
take
you
time.
just rushing,
It do.
you just
It
rushing,
do take time.
you gonna get catfish.
That's why I can
Everything
take time
is
to
fast.
Y'all don't want
Then you find out later a whole bunch of stuff about her.
Right, that's
What's up,
true.
Dan?
You're right about that. You just said it, man. Moving too fast.
I get what you said about different situations.
I feel like that sometimes these days, like, you can do all those steps and take your time, and then, you know, they still got their representative out there until, like, a point where you might have sex, and then after that, you might realize that this ain't the person. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's on us. We fall to the flesh, you know what I'm saying? It happens. You think you're doing everything right, they got a job, everything good, and you found out about them later. Go ahead, son.
No, go ahead and finish.
No, I'm done. I'm done. But everything you just said in that part right there is 100% right, man. You being too hasty, then yeah, you gonna come up with that.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing though, like how we was talking earlier. It all starts from the root though, bro. It starts from that root though, dog. When you with a woman, if you with a woman, say for instance, you with a woman and y'all get married in 2 years, and you don't really know her, I think you should get to know her mama, her parents, everybody before you lay down with her, because it all starts from. It all starts. I'm trying to say. Nah. Dang, man, he missed it. I was waiting on him.
What up, baby?
No, get a car, bro. Get a car. He got them slick shades. You couldn't see. Stunners. They call stunner shades. Yeah, stunner. No, though, being honest though. I'm being honest though, for real. I'm being very honest. I play, but I'm being serious though. It comes from like, no, for real. It comes from like the root of whatever you doing, bro. Like, you gotta look at how that woman been parented, bro, before you marry her. You gotta see how she been raised. She had a mom and daddy. That's what you really want. You want a woman who got a mom and a daddy.
Real talk.
See, like him. You want a man like.
What's going on, bro?
No, you want somebody who got a mom and a daddy, though. Real talk.
Dog, I feel, baby.
I ain't gonna say that's what you want, what you need, but I'm being honest though. If your girl came up seeing her mom and daddy married and seeing their situation and all that, then and she seen how her daddy treat her, that's how it's supposed to be.
What you saying though is 100% right. The upbringing play a part.
Right.
Because if she grew up in an abusive household,
Yeah.
that's gonna affect
Right.
her. That's gonna affect how she deal with you.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. That's what she gonna do all day. Argue with you. Everything she saw her mama do, she gonna wanna do it to you. And she gonna think that's cool because she's so used to it. She think that's how her mama kept that nigga. Hey,
Or you also got this another aspect. I met a lady, right?
Yes, sir.
And I could tell based off of what she went through, how she was speaking, how her whole mindset was towards men. So basically, she was a victim of 2 attempted rapes. That's, man, terrible.
No, who you say though?
I said I had met a lady.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to her, and she had brought up that she was a victim of 2 attempted rapes.
Right.
Remember that, she's a victim of 2 attempted rapes. So because of that, when she started to talk about men, I'm just sitting here listening, and it's like, yeah, well men, and men this, and men that. But I understand that's because of what? That trauma that happened to her. So I bring that up because going back to what Brian brought up, you got to know their upbringing.
That's true.
If she was molested, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship.
You're right, bro.
If she was raped, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship.
Affect y'all, everything.
If she saw her mother getting beat, that's going to affect y'all. If she haven't got over that, that's going to affect y'all in a relationship. Same thing with you.
You're right, yes, sir.
So that's why getting with somebody and getting married, it's a lot that come with that.
Yes, sir.
It is.
That's stuff y'all supposed to talk about beforehand. Go ahead.
It ain't just talk about it. I think before you get married, me, from experience, I think before you get married, I think y'all should start counseling. You should do counseling. I think that's real.
I had a question.
You gotta raise your hand too, light skin, because light skin.
In that Bible, right? What's it say about polygamy?
Polygamy? In what aspect?
Applying it to your life.
Applying to your life?
Read.
We're not supposed to be doing polygamy. Get 1 Corinthians 7 verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things where...
You heard that out of the Bible before?
No, I mean, I know, you go back in time, you're going to see that was been around for so long. And I was wondering why isn't it in the Bible? Is it in the Bible at all? Is it?
Polygamy, there are instances where men have more than one wife, but the practice of polygamy, just doing it as a practice, nah.
That's because in the real world, we're supposed to have more than one wife.
So what are your thoughts on that? Your personal thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
My thoughts are what the Bible says.
What does that mean?
One wife.
One wife?
Most of the time when you hear polygamy, let's read this first. Most of the time when you hear polygamy, it ain't because a man want more than one wife. Why do most men bring up polygamy?
I think outside urges and desires.
It's not because I want to have multiple wives and I want to take care of them and feed them and clothe them. It's because of what you just said, wants and desires.
I just think that we all was born to sin, so it's very hard to not sin. If you was born to sin, it's hard. Listen to me. If you've been married for 18 years, you see how this world is now. You see how social media is. You could not drive down the street and you in the car by yourself and you see ads everywhere and you ain't looking. And because they say if you look, that's sin, right?
Looking or looking and lusting?
If you look, you lust. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say, man. I don't care what you say, man. You see some ass jiggling, some titties wobbling, you want perfection.
Let's deal with that. Let's deal with what he just said. I ain't forgot what you said about the polygamy. Because that tie in what he said about the disciples. Go ahead.
I think this is a bigger conversation. Men being able to have, not even just have sex with multiple women, but being able to provide for multiple women. I think that it's a bigger conversation because it's not just black men. It's not just different religions. We talk about like worldwide, where men collectively do desire multiple women. I think that we're going against our natural DNA, our internal, as opposed to what the Bible says. It's a bigger conversation. Like there's no way. So if your argument was we shouldn't be doing that, right? If that's your argument, and it was segregated as maybe one race of men, but collectively, I think all men have this internal feeling that they want multiple women. I think it's bigger. I think it's a bigger conversation.
Yeah, man.
I think that's anatomy, basic DNA, basic who you are as a man. So I was curious as to what the Bible says to that.
First, let's deal with what Brian said about the lust, about looking. Right. We'll get Matthew 5 and 27. Then I want to deal with what the Bible says about having more than one wife.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Everybody ever heard that before?
Yes.
The 10 Commandments by Moses. What is adultery?
Adultery? Anything outside of your marriage.
Anything outside of your marriage, right?
Read. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
So I want to stay right here, right? He said, whoever looking on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery already in his heart, right? So is that saying, I'm going to use Corey, you walking, and then you just so happen to look up and you see a woman. She's walking past you. Did you just look and lust? You just looked up. Did you look and lust? No. You was walking, and you just so happen to, a woman could walk past right now, and you look up. No. It said look and lust. When you looking and you lusting, what you doing?
What we be doing?
Bruh, this what you doing. I'm gonna give an example. You looking and you lusting, you damn.
But what's wrong with that? What's
wrong with that?
That's why you better win.
Read it again, baby.
But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her,
What's going on in your mind right here?
I'm thinking she
Well, how did you meet your wife then? How did you meet your wife? Did you didn't look at her lust?
He wasn't married to his wife. He wasn't married.
But marriage ain't
I mean, something about you.
You said looking and between looking and lusting though.
According to the Bible, you can look if you're not married, right?
You said
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So it's only adultery if you're married looking at that.
Right.
no, period.
So how did you know that you want your wife. Like, I just want to have a conversation with her. Get to know her.
That's how you learn, bro.
Let me tell you what I think.
You
I'm
still
gonna
want to
tell you what I think.
At the end of the day, you still want to nail
I
her.
think the Bible was written by men that have personal interests. Nothing in that Bible had anything that is the benefit of a woman. A lot of that Bible, honestly, in my opinion, is based on collectively men feeling like we don't want this, that, and the third. Let's get together, put it in writing. That Bible isn't. It's stories. It's metaphors. It's nothing really factual in my opinion. But I get the vibe that it was mostly written by men. Yeah.
What man wrote it though?
No women. That's what we heard. I think that personally, I don't believe that one man had that much information to write a Bible. I think men collectively got together and they established a memo to protect their personal interests.
Not their personal interests.
So pretty much, I think that a man pretty much the commandment about you can't be married and look at somebody. I think that's a man. I think that's you and I together, right? You and I together. We're talking, have a conversation, and I because we all love women, right? I'm married. You got a girlfriend, married, whatever, right? We don't want nobody. I mean, some guys are insecure about that. We don't want nobody looking at our girl, talking to our girl, all that. So I think that if I was writing the Bible, I would put that in there. I would say, hey, we should add this as well. We should say, hey, let's not put this. Let's add a stipulation that you're married, you can't look at other women, because I don't like that personally. I think that Bible is written. The commandments are also by. I think it's mostly personal interests of what men didn't like, so they applied it to a book.
I understand that.
I don't believe that there was women present for that.
Right. I understand.
One man wrote it.
I understand your thought process on it, right? But regardless of our thought process, what happens when you staring at a woman and you lusting after her? What's happening in your mind? Because we need to understand why it's a problem. Why is it say it again, yo?
You think about taking her down, dog.
You thinking about taking her down. That's why the looking and the lusting is a problem. Regardless of what we feel.
The same thing happened with your wife before you got her.
What you mean?
When you was talking to your wife and you looked at her, you found her attractive and you want to do
Ain't nothing wrong. You gotta have something attractive. We talking about you looking and you lusting. You thinking about taking her down. We talking about why this is a problem. So why is it wrong? Why is it an issue?
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm confused. So if you're not married, if you're not married, you can look at a woman and lust.
I got a question.
You can't look and lust.
I got a better question.
That's my point. So how would you know?
I got a better question. Do you think a man looking at a woman's ass, is that a learned behavior or is that instinct?
It's learned behavior.
You think so?
You want to know what? You want to know why I say that? Wisdom of Solomon 4:12. It's learned behavior. Where do we learn that when we see a woman, we finna look at her and we finna think about taking her down? Where do we learn that from?
I think the first time I ever had sex, I think I never looked back. And that wasn't learned behavior. That was just me experimenting with a woman. And ain't know what I was doing. I threw it in and it felt good and I kept going. That's instinct to me.
He said, okay. Before that.
I say porn.
There you go.
Porn?
Yeah.
I
get your point.
Don't nobody want to deal with that. That's why our minds have gotten so perverted. A little boy that ain't never seen no porn, that's not gonna be his reaction. Damn, look at that ass. I want to take her down.
It starts from that. It's before porn.
If it's porn,
porn ain't always been around though.
No.
If porn is involved,
From a child. That's why.
then, hold on, bro. I'm gonna let you speak. Porn involved. Your brother bringing hoes around you. You seeing your brother with hoes. What you think gonna happen to you? It go back to the influence. So I can't say, it's just instinct for me to just look and I'm thinking about taking her down. No, your mind perverted. Go ahead, sir.
Yep.
It's like social media. I mean, they can go find it anyway.
If you exposed to too much, that's gonna do something to your mind. Period.
Yeah.
Read it again.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doeth obscure things that are honest.
You said
Obscure. Things that are honest. And the wandering of concubines doeth undermine the simple mind.
That's talking about your mind being corrupted by things. Just like you went in here, we was talking about how a young man can get corrupted by his environment if he in the street. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with sex. Because if a young man ain't exposed to too much, he has the chance to go about marrying a woman right without all of that stuff in his head. But because we exposed by so much, you thinking about taking her down. You thinking about how she looks. You thinking about what you gonna do afterwards with her. You ain't necessarily, your mind is not right. That's why when you brought up like what other races do, it's other races that practice actually having a wedding ceremony in their daughter, if they the parents of the daughter, or the parents of the son, they will go into a wedding chamber and consummate the marriage. They do stuff right because they not corrupted and exposed by stuff. We exposed by too much here.
Would you? Wait a minute, you said it
Porter.
I said it again. Him or me?
I have a question. So when you talking about like other races and they're not as corrupted, don't you think that like a good part of the reason why they're able to have these marriages and able to have all these nice things come from the fact that they're not having to deal with how to survive on a day-to-day basis, that they have money in their bank accounts, so that when it comes time for them to try to do anything, they have money to pay for a wedding. A wedding isn't cheap. I'm going to a wedding today, so that's actually funny. But a wedding isn't cheap. So you need a lot of money for you to access to a lot of these things. And a lot of these people don't have the opportunity to think about, what am I going to do when I go to college? Or what am I going to do after high school? Or what am I going to do when, I want to get married? They don't have that. They have to figure out what they got going on to eat for the next day. But that doesn't make them corrupted. That just makes them a product of their environment that they can't control.
Can you control how you behave, what choices you make?
You can try, but I will tell you that it's really difficult when you have a barrage of influences and factors that impacts your day-to-day life.
What's your name?
My name's Malik.
Malik. What did you just say, Malik? You said
You want to say something?
you said things that affect.
There are external factors that impact a person's behavior.
What are those factors? Name
Those factors are economic opportunity. Those factors are
outside of money.
No, but that is important. That is important though.
Outside of money, your behavior, right?
Yeah, but you can't take that away though.
You can't stop information flow. You can't stop.
I ain't stopping information flow. I'm asking a question.
It's about opportunity. When you make a mistake in a low income neighborhood, you're more likely to get in prison, you're more likely to get jailed and have tougher penalties onto you. But if a person even if they're black, from a more wealthy neighborhood will not have those same consequences to their own behavior. There's reasons for that, and that stems from economic instability, the financial readiness of their parents. A lot of stuff that they can't necessarily control. You can't control as a kid if you don't have books that's 30 years old, or you're not up to date because they're 30 years old. So how are you supposed to succeed in an environment that is not built for you to be successful? And there will be kids that become successful, but that's not the norm. I'm from this neighborhood, and in my class, going from 8th grade, I was one of 2 kids that was able to go to a school that was really, really successful, really highly like private school. I was one of 2 kids out of the whole class. That doesn't make me better than those kids. That makes me lucky, and I was able to be able to put in a position that I was able to get to these schools. But in order for me to get to these schools in the first place, I had to have a whole family that was able to, get behind me to pay for me to go to these expensive schools. Not every kid has that opportunity.
Trump supporter. Trump supporter.
I'm listening.
Did your family?
I don't want no Trump supporter by me.
Your family chose. Your family made the decision to get you in that better school, right?
Yeah, because they had enough money to do so.
Right, I understand
We're
that.
we're gonna make
I
America
understand
great
that.
again.
But what we talking about, right? We went from marriage, talking about dealing right with the women, to start talking about economic disparities.
Because
Right.
that
I think it
impacts
all goes
everything.
hand in hand.
Not just economic, but also social
Like
disparity.
you was just saying.
Because a
What?
perfect example is this, right? Good enough.
So back in the 80s and 70s, 80s and 90s, right, they criminalized the use of cocaine and crack, right? When you fast forward into the 2000s and opioid, right, it's a medical issue. But how many of us was imprisoned by it? Cigarettes is legal. Why is it legal? Because all the big families, the Kennedys and the Rockefellers and those people who made their wealth, right, lying, cheating, and stealing, right, including the Trumps, right, they decided it was going to be legal. It's one of the protected commodities. Oil, transportation, tobacco, right? But they put this big fine, this big penalty on the use of cannabis. That was illegal. And they did what? They put us in jail. They despair us. So what the young man was talking about when he says opportunities, don't be fooled, young man. There's a lot of opportunities that are not available to us in the black communities.
Right.
Period. So far what I heard you talk about is this whole idea of how the environment around us affects how we act, how we think, right, how we respond. Right? And so, you know, if you looked at from a psychological perspective, what you're speaking about there is this whole idea of nurture. What do we gain? What do we learn from our environment? What I haven't heard you speak about is this whole idea of nurturing, right? Because the instinct of a man is important. You're going to have sexual urges if you're exposed to porn or hearing your mama get it on or anything else, because that's the nature of a man. It's going to happen. Period. Right? And one of the reasons why it happens is because that's the key to us reappropriating. So we don't reappropriate unless we have those urges.
Okay, so are you saying that those things you mentioned, the porn, you hearing your mothers, you getting exposed to all of that, that's just a part of life? We just supposed to?
Of course it's just a part of life. But more importantly, what I'm saying is that you would have those urges because of the nature of a man if you are exposed to that or not.
So you're saying, so you're saying that a little boy is just in him.
I'm saying a little boy one day is going to turn 13. He's going to get hair up on his arms. He's going to get a little pubic hair. And his penis is going to be erect if he wants to sit to it or not, irrespective to if he sees porno or anything else.
So that just justify the behavior that we see out here.
Do it justify the behavior?
Yeah.
So, you know, so what you got to be careful that you don't do is use the small percentage of people who are doing wrong and expose that, or take that treatment and expose it to everybody and all the right things that go on in our community.
You said the right things that
The
go on.
right things that are
What's the
going on.
right things?
Well, a couple
Because
of right,
it's a lot of, I want to hear everybody's statement. So what's some right things that's going on today?
I think one of the right things that goes on in our community is like some of the after-school programs for the kids. I think that now that we're starting to talk about mental health, I think that's a good thing we need to do. I think some of the other right things that we're doing is like the improvement in the park districts. I could keep going on and on.
Man.
Is the system broke? Sure it is.
So,
Y'all interject here real quick.
Hold on, you want to ask
You
something?
got social issues.
You want to ask something?
Man, that boat is rough. You see
That's good.
Steve was like,
All the
yeah,
things that you mentioned.
that's
All
all
the things
my
that you
parents
mentioned.
up then did the same thing.
That is
You can't do that.
Depending on
For the
what your
behavior.
parents decide or can.
I'm not gonna say it's an excuse. I will say it brings context. You know,
To the
not
conversation.
everybody's gonna have, like my mom's a high school teacher for 30 years. Not everybody's gonna have a mom who's a high school teacher for 30 years.
Right.
It emphasizes me going into the books. My dad was also a librarian. Not everybody's gonna have a dad that emphasizes me to go to, read the books every day.
And
so
education is not a priority.
That's what's up, man. First I ain't like your ass. I like you now.
Education is not a priority for the black community, and that's by design.
I had an advantage that many other kids
Yeah,
didn't.
most definitely.
And that doesn't make me better. And if those kids join gangs or do whatever the case may be, that happened because those kids did not have the same opportunities that I had. And so,
Ain't that what I just said?
wait, so before I go, what I always try to emphasize is to give those people grace, even those people that
You made it seem like we didn't exist.
people who are
You cut me off and
streets
then
or
say
whatever,
like that's
Sorry, I
those
cut you off.
people
That's why you're
grace,
mad.
but also give them opportunities that they can grow in different areas. So not shame them, but say, hey, you might be doing this such in the streets, but there's a trade program that can really kind of like clean up your image, clean up your future prospects, and kind of get you on the straight and narrow instead of saying that like, oh, these people are corrupted.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that while we was here? I just said
No,
they
I
just
just
done
got-
for or?
Nah, I just got here, so
Okay,
Hey,
so
sir,
what we was talking about?
I'm 27.
What we was talking about?
Yeah, he
Right, we
can't
was
go
talking
places.
about, right? We was talking about how
No,
Ah,
smart
man.
client, model guy.
people want to porn, all that stuff, mess up.
Sad Steve-O.
That's why
What?
our minds are not
He
right
said he
when
was
it
second
comes to
smartest.
marriage.
But what
That's what
happened?
we was
so
talking
But
about.
what happened before porn? Because porn didn't exist for the majority of the time when we still had those issues.
Okay, now we getting somewhere.
Heavy.
Who's over the porn industry?
Who's over the porn?
It's on TV.
He said, what do it matter? It's on
It's
TV.
on TV.
This song's 83. This song's 83.
I gotta go see this last
This
one.
gonna be quick. This gonna be quick, bro. All of those
You can't-
things,
you
right?
can't make
All the
everything
stuff
about
that
the
we
white
suffer in our community,
Brother,
we still
man.
got somebody. You seem like you read, you seem real
I
intelligent.
know where you're going. Yeah, go ahead.
Look into this stuff.
Nah.
All of the stuff that you said that's put in front of us,
Uh-huh.
find out who's the face of it. Read this.
White man.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their heads.
So God has enemies. It says his enemies made a tumult. They having a gathering. A gathering about who? A gathering about what? Read it.
So God did.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
God has chosen people on this earth. This group of people, they took counsel together against his people. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Who are those hidden ones? We are those hidden ones. You are those hidden ones. Because with all this knowledge that we have, we don't know where we come from. Sure, we can say Africa, but where in Africa? There's over 56 countries. I might be off, might be 58. Where do we come from in Africa? We have no knowledge of self. We have no knowledge of our culture. We go to school, we get all the education in the world, but we still don't know where we come from. We still don't know that all the things that you said is in place are put in place on purpose. All of this stuff. But by whom?
I might have missed it.
By people that hate us. By the same people that put us in slavery. What is the purpose? Read it.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Cut off those hidden people. Let's cut off those people from being a nation. From prospering. That's why we always on the bottom. In those secret meetings, in those United Nation meetings, even with this politics and stuff going on, is plots and things put in place to keep us in a low estate. Whether you want to believe it or not.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.